Hello, ladies and gentlemen on YouTube, and welcome to race number 3 of Season 9 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Golden Corral 500 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway as we're getting set for 45 laps of racing at this really fast mile-and-a-half racetrack, a classic version, the traditional oval-shaped as opposed to the D-shaped version. So you guys saw the point standings and qualifying results from the, the qualifying results for this race as to who missed the race and who made the race, as well as the point standings coming in. So without further ado, taking a look at the starting lineup, in the last row we have Jackson Traeger, Dylan Poteet. Top 10, Kyle Matthews is on the pole for today. Starting next to him is Seth Cole. Row 2 is Carson Gum, Quentin Moore. Row 3, Michael Norman, Rob Evans. Row 4, Matt McIntyre, Austin LaPlante. And then Row 5, Ashland Boyd and Stephen Kalan. Let's get the command to fire engines for the Golden Corral 500 at Atlanta.
Drivers, start your engines!
All 40 drivers on the racetrack for the pace lap here. So yeah, as far as Seth Cole and Kyle Matthews in the point standings right now, yeah, Kyle Matthews actually moved into the top 10 in points after North Wilkesboro last week. Moved up to 9th. Seth Cole, on the other hand, fell to 15th in points. But of course, with this knockout style of qualifying, the championship's going to be very, very unpredictable because somebody who could have missed 3 races could be the champion depending on the performance of a lot of other people. But either way you slice it, this season still promises to be quite an exciting one. And we've had 2 great races to kick the season off. We had an amazing Daytona 500 and a really good race at North Wilkesboro last week that came down to pit strategy. Wonder what Atlanta will entail. But remember, the last time we was here, Dylan Jacobs had the worst crash I have ever witnessed, ever. Hopefully we don't see that again. As pace cars in the pit road, ladies and gentlemen, boogity, 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 let's go racing. Kyle Matthews led the first lap and actually has a little bit of a gap between himself and second place, as second place is side by side between Carson Gum and Seth Cole. Michael Norman throwing his name into the hat in trying to get up to second, as he's now going to go by Seth Cole for the 3rd position. 3 wide behind them for 4th. Ashland Boyd, Matt McIntyre, and Quentin Moore going at it. And yeah, basically the bottom line is where you want to be running if you want to get positions going for yourself. And also, the draft can actually play a bit of a factor as well, especially on the straightaways. In the corners, there is a little bit of off-throttle time. You're not gassing it the entire way around, even though you are going extremely fast, up to 205 miles an hour in the corners. And then you slow down to around 186, 187 in the center of the corner, so you're still going at blistering speed. Ashland Boyd, on the other hand, up to the 2nd position, as Kyle Matthews still hanging on to the lead, but doesn't have a massive lead. He's only leading by about probably 5 to 6 car lengths. And now Ashland Boyd about to be passed by Mitchell Collins in the 22 car. And Mitchell Collins up to the 10th spot in the point standings after a decent finish at North Wilkesboro. Although he can thank his lucky stars with everything that happened with the knockout qualifying. And I got a feeling the points are going to really shake up after today, as quite a few drivers who only made one race probably did not make it. But regardless, we'll see how things play out in the race on Friday. Where that will be, I actually don't know. Kyle Matthews so far has led every single lap. In his previous lap, he ran faster than any other lap before, but not the fastest on the track. We'll take a look at who has the fastest lap on the track overall today in just a second. Mitchell Collins slowly reeling in Kyle Matthews to perhaps get up to second. But the fastest lap goes to Alyssa Dreyson at 27.18. Really fast out there, although Mitchell Collins not that far behind, and Mitchell Collins closing in on Kyle Matthews to get to the lead. Ashlyn Boyd's also in the picture as well. Meanwhile, we could see a potential battle for fourth brew as Melissa Alexander dives into the inside to go by Michael Norman. Now, Melissa Alexander as well as Jonathan Zorleen have made all three races, though in the first two, they have not been able to catch a break, continuously getting bottom 5 in the races and not getting points. Could today be the day that they break the curse? We'll just have to keep an eye on them, as Melissa up to 4th, Michael Norman back to 5th, and now might actually go back to the 6th position, as here comes Scott Groverston. And Groverston actually moved up to the sixth spot in the point standings after North Wilkesboro, as he got a top 5 run, although he had a car to beat in that race at North Wilkesboro last week, but just could not quite make it work. Meanwhile, Michael Norman moved up to 4th in the standings after a good finish, or a decent finish at North Wilkesboro, but then again, with the shakeup in the points, anything is possible. Dylan Young, on the other hand, who did qualify for North Wilkesboro, is in for the second week in a row, and he got a top 10 finish at North Wilkesboro, and right now having a better run going up to the 6th position. Henry Durand in his second start of the season, after he had an 8th place run at North Wilkesboro, right now about to get up to the 7th spot. And right behind there is Alyssa Dreyson, who still has the fastest lap on track, making her second straight start. Almost got a top 10 at North Wilkesboro last week, finishing 11th. Right now up to 9th, although she might get passed by Austin LaPlante. And LaPlante, I believe, missed North Wilkesboro, but he made it this week, and having a very strong run going here in the beginning, here at Atlanta, running in the 10th spot. And there's Carson Gum, who started up in the top 5 and has fallen back to 12th, although he could, or actually, he fell back to 12th on that previous lap, but he's trying to go to the inside to get to the 10th spot over Michael Norman. And there's Jonathan Zorleen, one of the two drivers who has made all the races but not yet scored points. Right now he's looking pretty good to finally make something work. Rob Evans, on the other hand, in the 44, missed last week, made it in this week, and he has not had a very good start to the season for the former series champion. Right now, one of the best rookies on the track right now, Daniel Bouchard, who missed the Daytona 500, made it into North Wilkesboro and got a top 15 finish. Right now running in 14th, so very similar day going for that 19 Martini Dodge. Side by side for 15th between Charles Belding and Adam Garcia. Garcia, who had a top 5 in the Daytona 500, did not make North Wilkesboro. Right now having a top 15 run, but he's trying to go by Charles Belding, and Charles Belding, so far in his 2 starts, not really anything to set the world afire, as he's not really had a very good start, although right now having a good run in the 15th position. James Qualls, who missed the Daytona 500, made it in North Wilkesboro and did not have a very good race, and he's trying to improve upon that here today. And behind him, Riley Henry, and making his second straight start. Last week at North Wilkesboro, did not get any points as he finished bottom 5. He's trying to break that curse, the early season curse. And then you got William Brock in the 29, who's had a pretty solid start as he moved up to the 5th spot in points after North Wilkesboro. But now Quentin Moore in the 27 decided, you know what, it's my turn to get a good spot going. I'm going to pass you. And Quentin Moore, don't remember what race he made. I believe he made it into North Wilkesboro and did not finish very strong. Jordan Forbes in the 39 car, who actually had an okay race at North Wilkesboro last week, finishing 17th. But he's definitely looking to try and improve on that. But right now he's in 20th, but could get up to 19th. And there's Dylan Jacobs, who so far, Dylan Jacobs, okay start, 14th in points. But Dylan Jacobs is definitely back at the track that is probably going to haunt him for the rest of his career. As remember, the last time we was here at Atlanta, back in Season 8, he sustained the worst crash in the history of NR 2003 as he went head-on into a concrete opening at over 200 miles an hour and then back up into traffic and went flipping over a couple of times. So yeah, that's definitely a moment that's going to haunt him for the rest of his career. But right now, having a much better run than we thought here at Atlanta. Currently in the top 20 and continuing to move up the track. Or move up through the field, I should say. There's Dylan Poteet, who missed a race. And right now, not the best of runs going. Caleb Kilburn in the 99 car moved up to 8th in the standings, but again, not really saying much considering with this format we're doing for qualifying. I'm not sure if we're going to do this again in Season 10 or not. That remains to be seen. Seth Cole, who started 2nd, has fallen all the way back to 25th, so kind of a repeat of North Wilkesboro last week where he had a decent car, not really much to show for it here today. Stephen Colon, who so far has made every race, one of the only rookies in the field that has made every race so far. Although not having a very good run going here at Atlanta. Zachary Fitzwater, who had a 3rd place finish in the Daytona 500, did not qualify for North Wilkesboro. He made it in this week, and now he has an opportunity to get back into the top 10 in points if he can get a good enough finish. But he's got a lot of work ahead of him in order to make that happen. Joey Parkhill in the 77 comes into this race 25th in points, had a top 10 at Daytona, did not finish very well at North Wilkesboro, and fell to 25th in the standings. So we'll have to see what Parkhill has up his sleeve if we get pit stops at some point. Matt McIntyre in the 14, not having a very good start to the season for himself either, and it's continuing here today. And then right behind him, Jay Jefferson, who also not having a very good start to the season. And then behind him is Stuart Campbell, and Stuart Campbell didn't have a very good run at North Wilkesboro and fell to 17th in the standings. So he's got a little bit of work ahead of him if he wants to rebound and get back into the top 10 in points. And you can definitely tell they're going to have to pit at some point because they are slowing down to about 180 miles an hour in the corners, but still going over 200 on corner entry. But anyways, Cole Deaver, who also has made every race so far this season, and again, just not having the best of luck to begin the season. And then the same goes for Jackson Traeger, who missed a race, made it in this week, but just not running very well. 3rd in points, Jessica Shelton, who has been very consistent at the starts. Both races beforehand, top 10 finishes, but right now, not so well, as she's 34th. And then right now, the final driver of the drivers who would get points is Raphael Leduc. And Raphael Leduc, while moving up to 16th in points, not really a very good start. There's your Daytona 500 winner, Aaron Macklin, who didn't get points last week at North Wilkesboro, and right now he ain't looking good to get points this week unless he can get around Raphael Leduc and get to that spot to get 10 points. Then we got Alexander Rowe in the 66 car, who has made every race, but right now not looking very good. And there's our winner from North Wilkesboro, Daniel Voiles, who leads the point standings, but right now he ain't looking good to keep the points lead, as he is struggling here at Atlanta. And then, we got pit stops coming, as Patrick Smith, Jesse Turner were the last two we were taking a look at. And everybody, it looks like, in the pit road, even Kyle Matthews, and actually, about a fifth of the field came into pit road after all that. Austin LaPlante currently has the lead, but now he's coming into pit road. And here comes Mitchell Collins. Couple cars staying out. Henry Durand, Alyssa Dreyson, Stephen Kalan, Matt McIntyre going to stay out. Although there was a stack up of cars trying to slow down to get the pit speed. Big damage to the front end of Aaron Macklin's car. I think he ran over the back end of Jessica Shelton. Damage to the front end of William Brock, Dylan Jacobs. So yeah, definitely a little bit of a snafu with drivers getting into pit road or slowing down the pit road speed. But I'm looking around, there's Kyle Matthews, who I think has led every lap so far here at Atlanta. I wonder if he's going to get the lead back or not. Looking around for Austin LaPlante in the 48. Find out where he is. There he is. Last scored 5th, as the rest of the drivers who haven't pitted have now come into pit road. So perhaps Austin LaPlante might get the race lead as a result, so he must have went with the smarter strategy of staying out for a long time. But we're about to find out momentarily if that's going to be the case or not. And now Aaron Macklin has no hood after the damage he sustained when slowing down the pit road speed. And yes, officially Austin LaPlante has the lead. I wonder what happened with Kyle Matthews, because I don't even see his name on the top 10 scoring, but we're going to try and do a full field rundown and see where everybody is on track. But right now, actually, battle for the lead, as here comes Ashlyn Boyd to the inside. And Ashlyn Boyd takes over the top spot on track. So now let's take a look at the full field rundown. Ashlyn Boyd leads the race. Second, Austin LaPlante. Third is Melissa Alexander. Fourth, Dylan Young. Fifth, Riley Henry. Sixth is Cole Devers. Seventh, Quentin Moore. Eighth, Henry Durand. Ninth, Alyssa Dreyson. Or actually make that eighth Alyssa Dreyson. Wait. No, Cole Devers a lap down. Never mind. Sixth is Quentin Moore. Seventh, Henry Durand. Eighth, Alyssa Dreyson. 9th, Mitchell Collins. 10th, Zachary Fitzwater. 11th, Scott Groverston. 12th, Seth Cole. 13th, Jordan Forbes. 14th, Michael Norman. 15th, Carson Gums. 16th, Kyle Matthews. Man, that is a heartbreak. He had dominated this race until the pit stops came about. 17th, Stephen Kalan. 18th, Matt McIntyre. 19th, James Qualls. 20th, Jonathan Zorling. 21st is Patrick Smith. 22nd is Alexander Rowe. 23rd, Daniel Bouchard. 24th, Jay Jefferson. 25th, Daniel Voiles. 26th is Jesse Turner. 27th, Charles Belding. 28th, Dylan Poteet. 29th, Dylan Jacobs. 30th, Joey Parkhill. 31st is William Brock. 32nd is Stuart Campbell. 33rd, Caleb Kilburn. 34th, Rafael Leduc. And then 35th is Jackson Traeger. Currently, the bottom 5 would be Adam Garcia, Aaron Macklin, Cole Deaver, Jessica Shelton, and Rob Evans, who has been on pit road for quite a number of laps, as it seems like something is amiss on the 44. But anyways, Ashland Boyd continues to pull away from Austin LaPlante, as he's put 2 cars a lap down between himself and LaPlante. Meanwhile, battles side by side for 3rd between Dylan Young and Melissa Alexander, and somehow, despite no hood, Aaron Macklin's not completely off the pace. Though he is about 4 or 5 miles per hour slower, but not completely slow to the point where he'd hold up a bunch of people. But Dylan Young looking to keep some sort of momentum going, as remember, he got a 10th place run at North Wilkesboro last week, or last Monday. Right now having a much better run of 3rd, so this could possibly propel him into the top 10 in points, depending on what happens to everybody else ahead of him in the standings. As LaPlante and Ashland Boyd are actually behind Dylan Young in the standings, so this would be really big for the 2 car. Side by side for the 5th position, as Henry Durand takes the spot away from Riley Henry. As we're winding down this race, as this race has really just been zipping along, as we have not had a caution come out all day long. And in fact, it's now 6 laps to go, and the margin is 1.6 seconds between Ashland Boyd and Austin LaPlante. We got this 3-car dogfight going on for the 4th spot with Henry Durand, Melissa Alexander, and Riley Henry, as they've been going at it for quite a few laps. And then behind that, there is Scott Groverston. Actually, 2 out of the 4 Shadow Call Racing drivers are running in the top 10, Riley Henry and Scott Groverston. It's just, actually it's out of 5, as Jefferson, Forbes, and Jacobs are elsewhere on the racetrack. And Groverston's feeling like it's go time to get some spots and get another top 5 run, as he's now up to 6th and now could have a run to the inside of Melissa Alexander to take the 5th position. As this is basically the big battle going on the track, as there's no battle going on for the race lead. Although Dylan Young has actually been catching Austin LaPlante. I don't know if he's going to have enough time to catch up to him to make a pass for 2nd or not. But he is trying, as now Scott Groverston moves up to 4th, as he is really fast on the track. Alyssa Dreyson still has the fastest lap overall in the race, and she was last scored 10th. So actually a pretty decent day for Zev Bellringer Enterprises. The only driver missing is Joey Parkhill, who was last scored 27th. Could see a battle for 8th between Quentin Moore and Mitchell Collins, as Mitchell Collins right on the back bumper, and Alyssa Dreyson kind of watching it all from afar in the 10th position. Side by side, as we got only 2 laps to go. Whoa, Scott Groverston actually did get by Dylan Young, but then he got really loose in the center of 1 and 2, and now is about to lose that spot to Dylan Young, as Austin LaPlante's been slow on the track. But meanwhile, white flag is about to be displayed for Ashland Boyd, who passed Austin LaPlante after the pit stops were done. And now Ashland Boyd is on his way to winning a race. I'm not sure if he's won before in this series. I believe he has. But if not, this could be his first career win, perhaps. As we're getting ready to come off of Turn 4 for the final time, checkered flag waving, Ashland Boyd wins the Golden Corral 500 at Atlanta. Great performance by the 51 towards the end of that race. But man, I gotta give it to Scott Groverston. He was coming up like a bat out of hell. Perhaps if this race had 15 more laps, he might have had a chance at it. But nonetheless, Ashland Boyd gets his first win of the season, maybe of his career, I'm not sure. But he wins at Atlanta. Let's look at the rest of the results. Scott Groverston, another top 5 run. Second straight race finishing in the top 5 as he finishes in the 2nd position. So he's en route to perhaps getting that first win for Shadow Call Racing this season. Dylan Young continuing another top 10 streak for himself, finishing in 3rd. Austin LaPlante, best finish of the season by a country mile, in 4th. And then Henry Duran, the highest finishing rookie, in the 5th spot. Riley Henry gets his best finish of the season and of his career so far in the 6th spot. Melissa Alexander, apologies for that. Thank you, Oda Stozovic. Melissa Alexander finally getting points as she finishes in 7th. Mitchell Collins with a great run, first top 10 of his career in 8th. Quentin Moore, first career top 10 for himself in 9th. And then rounding out the top 10 was Alyssa Dreyson. Then there is your top 20, top 30, and then the bottom 5 for this week was Jackson Traeger, Cole Deaver, Aaron Macklin, Jessica Shelton, and Rob Evans. Well, that does it for our coverage here today at Atlanta. We will be back on Friday for the next race, but until then, here is the victory burnout for Ashland Boyd, as well as the point standings heading into Friday's race. And this is Levi McIntyre, signing off.